I must repeat, the year is 2023. Some people still get stuck in the previous year. But anyway, as Mark means business is here to give you the very information that you need and post your daily Kickstarter in regards to this and much more information. And of course, I'm joined with Godwin, and we shall be dissecting and sharing on what is happening in Uganda, East Africa, and of course globally. And of course, I must say, don't forget to invest with ZABU if you want to invest in government bonds and securities. ZABU says, my money, my future. And of course, you can reach out to them if you dial *29#. And of course, follow the prompts. You can invest as low as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. And of course, if you want to invest in those bonds, reach out to them on that dial as *29#. And of course, invest with government bonds and securities. Altex East Africa says, do something new. And of course, Zabu says, my money, my future. I'm joined with Godwin Batman, of course. How is your morning? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Mercy? This is a beautiful morning, isn't it?
Yes, it's a beautiful one with light showers of rain. You know, they've been predicting that this is going to be a rainy one.
It is. It's a rainy season and starting off with a bit of drizzle. I noticed it started around 5 a.m. in the morning and is going all the way. So hopefully it's not going to be so bad for those that are on their way to work.
Definitely, that's it. But anyway, today in our morning call, due to time is the most factor that chases us. But anyway, today we're going to be focusing on terrorism attacks. On Sunday there was was it an attempted one?
It was, yes. It was sort of an attempted attack that happened on June 17th. No, that's happened on Sunday recently. And it's been causing a lot of insurgency, a lot of fear amongst the general public. So we're here to find out what best can we do, what are the measures that we can do to stay safe in this period, and what does it mean for business in Uganda? How does it help us moving forward, and how can we move? How can businesses thrive in this period? Because it's not a time for us to be afraid, but it's a time for us to be more vigilant. Would you say, Mercy?
Yes, and of course, vigilancy is key. The fact that us Ugandans, definitely, you people, Ugandans, our lifestyle is really people are partying, people are always congregated.
Yes.
Huge. Now I can imagine over the weekend there were very many concerts that were happening.
Yes.
Pompi, Gravity,
yes.
Something happened, and thousands of people would actually be gone.
It's gone, and that's the thing about Uganda. We are very known to converge in many spaces all the time. I mean, just Sunday there were so many weddings that happened. I was personally at a wedding on Sunday until I got so many calls from my mother saying, please be safe, avoid large crowds. And then you start to realize, my goodness, we have to be careful. Ugandans will love to kuchakala, as they like to say, right? On the weekend, our Saturdays are packed, the weekdays are packed as well. I've not seen any other country that has a good time like us, from Monday to Sunday, and then the Monday off. So yes, so what does this mean for different businesses now, like restaurants and bars? Because as you've noticed over the past 3 years since COVID, and we're allowed to now go back into the public, a lot has shifted in the landscape regarding our creative space, the food space, drinks, and all that. What does it mean for restaurants, Mercy? Now, what can people do now? Is it a scary place for business now?
Of course, it's a scary place for business now. Of course, we have to be for someone who is into business. They have to be alert. How have you secured yourself?
Yes.
Do you have insurance just in case there is something like that happens? I'm very sure if we are to go out and get a few, ask out a few people who do businesses, most of them are not insured.
Many businesses aren't insured. Many businesses aren't even paying taxes. Yeah. So it's important right now for people to stock up. Are you stocked up on enough product in your restaurant, in your bar? Do we have enough? Because we never know what's happening, but we have to be prepared, because Uganda, it's not our first rodeo. So I have to say the government has done an amazing job, at least being able to keep us safe all through the years, despite how porous the borders are. You'd think we're still very vulnerable according to the United Nations. We're still very vulnerable. It's important to be vigilant. However, we can see that we are doing such an amazing job in trying to make sure that we are protected and the government is keeping us at bay and posted. So keep online, find out what's happening, keep your ears on the pulse, and don't just show up to places without full armor and information, right?
And the good thing is that the government is aware. They usually get the terrorism alerts
Right.
as soon as possible.
Yes.
So they, just imagine that gentleman right there.
Yes.
The way they reached out, just
Yes.
snap, and we are safe already.
Yes.
So definitely, but according to the law, if you didn't know, this is what they term as terrorism in Uganda, according to our constitution, and of course, a serious violence or damage to property. That is also terrorism. Terrorism that involves acts that result in serious violence against a person or a serious damage to property. That is what they regard as terrorism in our country, Uganda. Another one, the one that endangers a person's life. Not just the perpetrator, but also the surrounding people. You know these suicide bombers.
Yes. Yes.
If you're a suicide bomber, I mean, the people around you will also be affected.
Right. And to that point, Mercy, one of the things that Uganda has been very good at is our public knowledge. I mean, we are very subtle, but the public, we have almost like public police officers, the everyday person, the civilian. We have the civilians that are always reporting in. I mean, a snap away can save a life.
You remember that very explosion that happened at CPS?
Yes.
The one in 2021.
I remember this.
People scared and
Yes.
people lost lives, and I was seeing parts over there, jaws. Oh my God!
It was a very scary time, and as you can see some images on the screen. Yes.
Oh my God! I was in town that day. I don't know. I got like a shock.
It was a very scary time, and I remember this particular time, especially regarding where we are at and how we've come forward regarding business. We struggled financially, I think, from the travel sector. If you think about it, it creates a lot of fear for different countries. Should I come back? Should I visit Uganda? Is it a safe place to be? The general knowledge around a country that's unsafe can create a lot of dwindling in business.
With this, the first attack we had, was it the World Cup?
Yes.
People were watching the World
One of the worst.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was when that happened.
A massive explosion.
Yes.
A lot of people died
Yes.
that day, and of course,
A lot of friends and family.
It actually hindered a lot of tourists that were planning on coming into the country.
Yes.
Just imagine you're nowhere and you hear there is a blast in the country you're going to.
And it made people feel very unsafe. And considering how big our tourist sector, agriculture sector here in Uganda is, when that happened, it completely hit our numbers badly. But one of the things we have to give ourselves courage for is we pick up quickly and we're able to rebuild. As a nation, as a country, we're able to rebuild brick by brick. But right now, it's a time for us to be more and more vigilant. We cannot stay seated. For any business owner, we need to be more vigilant. We need to put out more signage. We need to have more product in store, and we need to have our businesses insured. Yeah.
And of course, that is it for our morning call. And of course, we're going to be giving you more updates in our update too. And of course, having people will be, giving us their views and what they feel about the insecurity that is happening in Uganda lately, even for the past years, 2021, 2010, and of course, the alerts that we get. How safe are we as a country? How safe are you as a business person?
Yes. And how can we protect our businesses moving forward?
Do protect our business?
All that and more.
Yes, all that and more. And of course, we are going to focus now on a press review.
All right.
Oh well, of course, today we're going to be looking at Uganda's passport fraud nightmare in East Africa. Of course, due to the increased forgeries of the Ugandan passport, many travelers have either been subjected to overly strict scrutiny by immigration officials or denied entry into China, India, Singapore, and other East Asian countries. Wow. So people are walking around with fake passports. how sure are you that the passport that you have is really valid?
It's important to make sure you go through the right channels to get your passports, isn't it?
I mean, people people, I know, they tell them, oh, this is the easiest way to get a passport.
Yes.
You can do that, and all of a sudden you're walking around confidently with a fake passport.
And I think one of the biggest issues that we're having as a country is we have now become very prone to shortcuts. We're looking for the quickest way to get something done. We become very fraudulent as a nation, and this is not our culture because it's affecting our travel. I know just last year, even the people that are innocent, you find that we're held at more scrutiny just because you hold a Ugandan passport. Before, it used to be something that you held with honor, and mostly that was attributed to maybe West African countries where they were more critical of them. But now you're finding that Ugandan passport isn't always, I mean, we have to do better.
I was walking through town and I saw someone selling passports. But anyway, we shall dive deep into this very report shortly. And of course, we are joined with Andrew Barija. He's going to be taking us through what is happening there in the traffic. Good morning, Andrew. How is it? How is the traffic right there where you are?
Well, it's yet another beautiful day here, and it's a Tuesday. And of course, we're into our traffic updates, getting to understand how the situation is really like standing here. And well, today we decided to go at the Wandagea traffic light junction, of course, to take a look at the traffic atmosphere and how exactly the vehicles are moving in here from one area to another. And of course, getting straight onto the point, as you can actually observe at the Makere Road, it all seems like it's quite very free. And that is for the people that are coming in from Kasubi. Connecting to most of those areas like Namungona, you can actually really get to see that it's a very, very, very clean slate. So if you're really going to execute business and you're coming to the city center and you're coming from those destinations, you're coming in from Kasubi, you're probably going to link up towards Sao Paulo Junction Road. You're even coming in from Waise, you could choose to link via that very route. Well, Makere route is quite a very friendly place for you. And anyway, you could be even heading to other areas like proceeding to Malago, heading to Kamoche. It's quite very friendly for you, and you'll be in position to actually reach in the required time. That is according to the situation here. Well, it's not really heavily congested, not so many people here, not so many borders, and the traffic officers in full control of the jam to make sure that actually there is some sort of a discipline to avoid any possible accidents on such a very early cold morning, on a beautiful morning day like this. So you can see they are taking charge of the vehicles in here. A number of them actually, majority, most especially on the different routes. We have both public and private related. But of course, the public being the biggest dominant because of the areas where they are actually transporting the people from, bringing them towards, that is the city center. Now switching our eyes to the Bombo route, as you can see, and now talking about people that connect with Kalere, Gayaza, Bwaise, you can actually see still it's quite a huge fleet of vehicles according to where I'm standing and where I'm trying to observe this entire situation. There are quite a huge fleet of vehicles and held in a space of about 5 to 7 minutes before they are released to get to the different destinations, as you can actually head in there. And majority of them, surprisingly, actually public vehicles, taxis, taking the people to the different areas in town. So if you're likely to link up with the Bombo route, well, chances are high you gotta be a little bit patient before you're in position to actually reach your destination in town to execute what you ought to execute. But of course, it's a holiday season. That's why sometimes it's kind of like the way it is. There are mild congestions in most cases as compared to times when we're done with the holiday season. Now switching our eyes, of course, to the route that connects to the Mulago roundabout. And of course, still as you proceed from Mulago, you head to areas like Kamocha. Well, it all seems a little bit calm according to the look of things here. And if you're coming in from Mulago, you're coming in from Kamocha, and you're probably coming to execute business in town, I could guarantee you just gotta be a little bit patient. You will be in position to actually reach in the required time like how you ought to. You just gotta be a little bit patient. Those coming in from Mulago heading to Makere, you're coming in from a Mulago route heading towards city center, well, it's still friendly for you. You will be able to reach in time as you can proceed efficiently. Yeah, of course, like I told you, there are traffic officers in here in full control of the vehicles to avoid any further possible accidents that actually might happen on such a morning. Now, finally, let's take a look at Kampala Road and what is happening in there, like for the people that are coming from the different destinations, and you're probably shooting straight to the city center. It's quite, in my observation here, just ahead in the middle, next to YMCA, as you proceed towards in there, it's looking mildly congested, but it is in motion. It's mildly congested, but it's in motion. You know, there is jam that is static, that is in one place, but there is jam that is a little bit in motion. So that is what is happening in there. So if you're coming in from Kamocha, you're coming in from Mulago, you're coming in from Makere, you're coming in from Gayaza, and you've linked towards the Bombo Road, and you're heading towards the city center, I can guarantee you, you are on the right track today. You will be able to reach in time and execute what you ought to execute still in the required time. So that is the situation like here. All routes seem to be a little bit friendly, apart from the Bomba route, which seems to be a little bit tricky. But the rest of the routes, talking about Makere Road, talking about the route that connects from Lago Roundabout, and also the Kampala Road, well, it's quite a friendly route for you. And I can guarantee you that you'll be in position to actually reach in time and execute the business that you ought to execute in the required time. That is it for the traffic updates for this particular hour. I'm Andrew Barije.
Thank you, Andrew, for that insightful, of course, traffic update. We can see along Wandegea, cars, the traffic is moving, along Bombo Road, those that are going to the city center. Maybe mostly all people going into the city center because, that is a city center, that is where business
is. Yes. So, yeah. I would advise a lot of people to start moving now because it seems like the traffic is still a bit low. And they say Ugandans are made of salt. So when it rains, we just disintegrate. So guys, move.
Yes, and of course, away from that, Smart Men's Business goes for a short commercial break. And of course, coming up is Caribbean, East African and international business related news. Stick around.